Now I want to talk to you about how to deliver a high energy webinar, because it's really important that you keep the momentum going and keep your audience engaged. Now, one of the ways to start this off is to kick in with some really high energy music playing in the background in the pre-start, the pre-phase, the pre-party, whatever you want to call it, to the webinar. Now, there are lots of things you're going to need to be doing in this period, but if you've got this high energy music going on in the background, it will lift everybody and really sets you up as a high energy deliverer, presenter of the webinar that you're about to deliver. Now, another way to keep your energy levels up, which you can then communicate to your audience, and I can't do this because of the camera angle, but it's actually to stand up to deliver your webinar. Now, if you're delivering a webinar where you're not on the screen, but it's just the presentations on the screen, which is normally the case, then you can do this without worrying about the camera, and that way you will keep your own personal energies high, and that will come through in the style of the webinar. If you want to engage and energize your audience, then in the pre-party, then I suggest that you, as people log on, shout out and give them shout outs by name and welcome them to the webinar, so they feel immediately connected and buoyed up by the fact that they've just been given a public shout out over the webinar air, and people can hear their name. And people always love to hear their names, so it's a really good thing to do to get them logged in straight away. Something that is important, and this works for public speaking as well as webinars, is that you need to check in with them periodically to keep them focused on what's going on. People will zone out, and the time for this is about every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes you should be just asking for confirmation from them that they're following you, that they're staying up with what you're saying, that they're happy with the information you're delivering to them. And the way you do this is to ask them to check in and to just type yes, or something perhaps a little bit more emphatic, like heck yeah, if a bit American for me, but you know what I mean, to ask them to do something to confirm to you that they're happy with the way that the webinar is going. And another point allied to this is that if you regularly ask them questions that they answer yes to, then you are building up a psychological profile of them getting used to saying yes to you. And of course, that will help when it comes to pitching them and selling something to them at the end of the webinar, because they will be in a pattern of agreeing with you all the way through. A little bit of psychology there, but the point I'm trying to make is that in order to keep your energy levels high, then you need to keep regularly checking in with your audience to make sure that their energy levels stay high as well. So there you are, a few tips on how to keep your energy levels high in your webinar. So important that you don't simply deliver something to them which is very moribund and slow and dull and uninteresting, but something that's really going to grab them, and that your enthusiasm and your energy really comes across in your delivery.